good to see you. Today, we are talking through one of the toughest transitions in retirement, becoming a spender instead of a saver. I was surprised to learn that only 1/3 of retirees are actually comfortable spending their retirement money. The rest would rather live off Social Security pensions or income from part time work. So, you and I, Wes, have spent hours talking through retirees' biggest fear of outliving your money. But what about the other side of that coin? Don't hoard your money and compromise your quality of life. How do you help people transition from being savers to spenders?
Well, it's certainly a bit of a balancing act, Aaron. And, we've spent, as a retiree, you've spent your entire life having that consistent paycheck. You've been saving over the years. And now we're talking about taking this bucket of money and turning it into cash flow. And it can be a little bit jolting. So, what our role is as advisors is not to sit there and say, this is what you cannot do. Right. But it's more so working alongside you to help you feel comfortable in what you can do. And then assess the risk from there and the things that we have control over and those that we don't. And we just try to mitigate risk wherever possible.
I see. So, this study by BlackRock found that a vast majority of retirees still had 80% of their retirement savings 2 decades into retirement, and 1/3 even grew their assets. Do those numbers surprise you?
Initially, yes, but then when we take a step back and look underneath the hood of this, of why, it's not too shocking when we think about the income sources that some have had in retirement that is no longer there for many others, and that would be pensions.
Right.
So if you've been retired for a couple of decades, it's likely that you've got a substantial or at least a pretty good sized pension that helps cover your expenses in retirement. But pensions, as we well know, Aaron, have kind of gone the way of the dinosaur. Companies have kind of put the savings responsibility back on the employee, on the worker. And now you've got to, again, take this bucket of money that you've accumulated in a 401k and IRAs over the years and, well, perhaps create your own private pension.
Yeah. All right. So, Wes, I know that you do have an action plan to help people feel more comfortable spending their hard earned retirement money. And first on that list is that you need to have a spending plan. But again, from that same study, I'm sorry, 1/4 of people actually didn't even have a spending plan.
Yeah, and that kind of makes my head spin. It's like, we all want to have a plan because again,
Yeah.
it's that guideline that can help us stay on track to feel good about what we're doing month over month, year over year. And you want to kind of begin to assess, okay, what you have coming in versus what your expenses are. Look at what your fixed income sources are. So, do you have a pension? If you do, great. If you don't, well, it's probably Social Security. And then you're looking at your asset base as far as maybe you've got rental income or your market-based assets to provide that additional cash flow. And then, Aaron, we have oftentimes this gap. So let's say, for instance, that your monthly expenses are running you, just keep the math easy, $5,000 a month, right? Or
Right.
$60,000 per year. Well, if there's $4,000 that's coming in from your sources like a pension or Social Security or rental income, now you had that gap, right, of about $1,000. So for a lot of people, it makes sense to not worry about, is the market going to provide this income stream gap, or could I maybe simply ensure a piece of my retirement just to cover that gap? And that allows you to really sleep easy at night. And so if you're using a tool like an annuity, which isn't right for everyone, but it can serve a really good purpose of providing guaranteed income, consistent cash flow, oftentimes that can make sense. And then as inflation builds over time, that's where our market-based assets that is designed to keep up with that, we can gradually dip into that and still have longevity of our money and sleep easy.
Exactly. But it again starts with having that plan, which brings peace of mind. So important. Wes, that was really well explained and very helpful. If somebody wants to talk through how they feel about spending their money or getting that plan started, what's the best way to reach you?
Send us a quick email, info@patriotwealthnc.com. We'd love to hear from you and we'll get back in touch.
All right. Wes, thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Aaron.